Oh, listening audience, do I have a treat for you? I have on the show, guess who? The man of our town, Khari Enaharo. And he is a best-selling author with Essence Magazine. And he is also the host of Straight Talk Live. Now, this is one of the most popular shows in our city. And it comes on 95.5 by ColumbusMagic.com on Sundays from 7 until 9. But Khari, how are you today?
I'm doing real well, and thank you so much for having me here. And you yourself are an accomplished author, so let's give kudos to you also.
Thank you. Well, authors are talking to authors today, aren't we? But you know what, Khari, this book is amazing. I mean, it is awesome. The on sex Cold War. You know, when I read it, there's things that you say that I take for granted. Now, but could you tell us why you wrote the book? What inspired you to write about sex Cold War?
Well, I looked at the four major drives in humanity. Well, I would call the four major drives: sex, race, economics, and religion. And I said, you know something, I need to see what impact those four dynamics have on Black people, and how is that affecting, why is it seems like we're just in the mess we're in? And I want to see how those things are used and what effects they have on us. And so my first book was called Race Code War, which became an Essence Magazine bestseller. And it looked at racially code language. It broke down racially code language, images, symbols, rituals, and it went on to become an Essence Magazine bestseller. The second book I've done is called Sex Code War, which is looking at sexual code language, sexual images, things that people do, how sex is weaponized to break up and destroy Black male-female relationships, and how it creates sexual confusion, sexual dysfunction, and a host of other dynamics that spin off from it, including its relationship to drugs, its relationship to music, its relationship to crime, and a whole lot of other dynamics that have had a dramatic impact on the quality of life in Black communities.
You know something, Khari, when I was watching the P. Diddy and R. Kelly and all those cases, I thought about your book. You know, many of the themes, came out that you talked about in your book. Could you, what did you think when you saw those, Bill Cosby, how sex was used as a weapon or
Yes.
against both the male and the female? What did you think when you saw that?
Continuation of the same old stuff. This is what they've been saying about Black men for years. We were sexual cravens, sexual animals, sexual savages. This is how we've been imaged for years. This is just the latest iteration of it. Now, in terms of the behaviors that were alleged to have happened with Diddy and other people, especially Diddy, if you look at that, that goes on in every city. See, people don't realize that there are 200 to 300 cities, major cities in this country. Each one of them has a power structure, each one. And each power structure has initiation rights. And it's always based on what? Sex. So then whatever I know about you sexually, what does it become? It becomes a weapon that I use against you. Now, I can weaponize it also by imaging a race of people as sexual deviants, sexual savages. All the things and it can be implemented in many ways through their clothing, through their hairstyles, through the food, through the language, through sports. All of these dynamics are happening when you intentionally racially sexualize a population, as Black people have had this on them ever since they came here in 1619.
Wow. You can even see it in some of the fashion, and you talk about that in your book. Things have gone from, being kind of like showing a little bit of sexuality to
it's gone crazy.
Showing everything. I'm saying, oh my gosh, I can't even believe you wore that outside. But
Well,
and it's getting to be okay to do that.
yeah, the D word is gone. We used to have a word called dignity.
Yeah,
Nobody talks about dignity in our community anymore. Oh,
yeah,
I'm gonna protect my dignity. What happened to that word?
yeah,
Because that word was part of the standards
yeah,
that and the values that we had in our community, where we managed sexuality. Now, was it out of control or as managed as it should have been? No, but it certainly was a heck of a lot better than where we are now, where it's totally out of control.
yeah,
Every social order has to set up systems that manage and control sexuality. That's why you have laws against sexual rape, sexual violations, all kind of sexual abuse, because you have to control it,
yeah.
because it's a very, very powerful thing, and you cannot let it get out of control.
And out of control can be dangerous for our children and everybody involved. I,
Chaos, unwanted families, unwanted pregnancies, unwanted children. I mean, it leads to horrible, horrible situations that often turn into crime, drug use, and a whole bunch of other things that are all sexual and erotically related.
Now, when you did your research, you said sex is powerful. Could you explain how it is powerful? What it does?
Well, first of all of us who are here are sexual beings. And you say, well, why is that? Because we were born through an act of sex,
Mhm.
male, female. So what I say in the book is that sex is male, female. And why? Because sex produces life. Sex is life. So sex is male, female. All else, male, male, female, female, working, putting the cucumber up there or whatever it is you want to do. Plastics, you go to get these dildos and all that. That's not sex.
That's not sex.
What that is, that's eroticism.
Oh,
That's of eroticism. That's different. It doesn't produce life. These are erotic behaviors that people get into.
uh-huh.
Sex is between male and female exclusively because it produces life. That's it.
Okay.
Everything is erotic.
Oh, okay. So why is the war causing our relationships to be mismanaged? I mean, it's dividing black male,
Because
black
sex,
people.
because sex under control means you have fathers in the home, you have mothers in the home, you have disciplined children, you have disciplined families. When you have disciplined families, you have disciplined communities, you have disciplined cities. Certain things are not allowed because there's a heavy penalty and everybody understands that. You just don't do certain things. You don't hurt children. You don't do these things. This is not allowed because you grow up with a healthy respect for sex. You grow up with sexual esteem and you grow up with understanding the real meaning and purpose of it. It's not something you play around with.
Mhm.
You have to show respect for it. And you have to, if you're going to involve yourself in it, you better know who you sleeping with. You
Yeah,
just don't randomly sleep with people.
yeah.
And, I mean, look at what that's produced in our community. Look at the chaos. One dude walking around talking about he's the father of 19 children, ain't taking care of none of them.
Mm.
And then he winds up in prison and half his children wind up. See, that's what I'm saying. That's a war. When you see that kind of stuff being pushed in our community through the music, through the dress, through the food, through the drugs,
Mhm.
through the crime, that means that that community, that race is being targeted for those kind of things. And that targeting is warfare against that racial population.
Mhm. Now we see it in other communities too. Is that targeted with them, or is just you're thinking it's doing it more with us than it is with them?
It's the impact.
Yeah.
They probably have some of that, but they're able to handle it more effectively
Hmm.
because they have greater stability and they're the controllers. We control nothing. We produce nothing. We are totally dependent on other people for our survival. We are, remember, still 70 decades behind white wealth. Black people are 700 years in the Columbus and cities like Columbus, 700 years behind, and about 500 to 600 years overall across the country. So, how did we get in this shape? What keeps us here? What are the things that continue to keep us down? Well, these are some of the things that I've identified. how sex is being used to sexualize the population, to get them off into all kind of crazy sexual related behaviors, which destroy male-female relationships. The number one thing that builds a civilization is the relationship between males and females. The rules, the laws, however they decide they're going to coexist, decides the future of that civilization. Without that, there is no civilization. So males and females, when they stop bonding, when they stop bonding, stop loving each other, stop working together, that race is doomed. It cannot survive. That civilization is doomed. It cannot survive. That, my friend, is a war. That's a war against a race when you see the acceleration of those kind of things.
Explain more about the entertainment and the movie industry, because it seems as though that they were I remember when some of these things started, it got heightened, not when it started, but when it got heightened back in the day when C.D. Lewis Tucker warned us about it and how it was going to bring up.
Well, that's part of the war. All of that gangster, all of that, a lot of hip hop, not necessarily, some of the earlier parts of it, maybe, but the gangster went full burn, and then you went into drill and all this kind of stuff. All this stuff was designed to degrade male-female relationships. You start calling women, excuse my language, bitches and hoes. You start treating the women, start calling the dude niggas and all that. I mean, it just got out of control. Seeing the language is very important to respect. If I'm calling you all these kinds of names, how in the world can we have a constructive relationship? We can't, because that's how I see you, and that's how I'm going to do what? Treat you. And that's what led to some of what we talked about, the Diddy parties and all of that kind of stuff, is because it's a sexual initiation. And every city goes through that same process. The only difference is he did it at, with Hollywood type, but that's been going on also for years. It's going on in Harlem. It's been going on for years. So, but they decided to focus on him. They didn't focus on white folks when they were doing it like that. And why? Because it supports the image of the black man being a sexual deviant, a sexual savage. And if you notice, all these cases primarily were black males. Boom, 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 boom. Prominent black males. Well, it would get your attention. So what kind of image do you have of black males in your mind? That was sexual deviants. I mean, and that's a part of that weaponizing a race. Here we come. Okay, here comes the sex. Here we go. And that's the only thing when they look at us, that's what they look at. They don't see, here comes an engineer. Here comes nation builders. Here comes people who are building rocket ships and conquering new planets and all that stuff. That ain't what they want. They want that image of you just like they got it, scantily clad, big booty women and guys that don't have no sexual mores, no nothing. That's what they want you there.
And they don't want you to talk about those individuals who came in and those engineers and those doctors and those people that made it.
Because
they don't want to talk about that. If they could, they would burn up all the books and erase it and continue to do the imaging that is damaging. Not only is it damaging to our race, all across the world. Because not only are they programming it in our country, they're programming it all over the world where people look at us as sexual deviants.
Because whatever happens to one black population is imaged onto the other. So we all are imaged together. Therefore, we have to learn to move together, counter stuff together, and unite. And the only way we can do this is that we have to be concerned about each other and know when they're attacking that black population, what that really means. And because more than likely they set it up so that they could be attacked. This is what a white supremacist does. Usual suspect behind most of all of these things. We're even seeing that here recently in Minnesota with the Somali population. Same thing. They allowed them to get away with that. They knew when they came over here, they were basically a needy people. But they encourage that kind of behavior. They set it up, they put it in there. And unfortunately, a lot of black people fall into that trap. And it was a trap. And now, while they may leave the country, the black people here have to deal with that, with the aftermath of that. But that's the way, that's what we have to understand, is that what one black population affects all of us. That's what black unity should teach us.
Yeah, and we have had to deal with it for many years. But you know what? If you know the script, you don't have to get in it. We can make some changes, and that's what you talk about in your book. You talk about some things that we can start doing right now to change this imaging and to build our relationships. I know one thing that you said is the most revolutionary thing that we can do is get along with each other.
Yeah, they treat each other correctly. Another one, you minimize conflict, maximize cooperation.
Yeah,
You strive, you set up standards in your community, you reconstruct. It can start with just you and your family. Do
yeah,
it there.
yeah,
It starts with the individual. Do it in your relationships with people.
yeah,
You, you can't go for anything. You have to have standards. No standards have to be about how do I build my people up? How do I build my community? How do I build black people all over the world?
yeah,
What must be done? Now make it realistic. I'm
yeah,
not asking you to do something unrealistic.
yeah.
Make it as realistic as you can, realizing that we all, are human and we all have shortcomings, but we try to do the best we can with what we're working with.
And you know something, we love to see the unity. We love it when we see us getting along. And a lot of times, just not just talking about it, but being about it, because people will copy off the things that they love to see. I mean, they see a family that's getting along, an organization that's getting along, an organization that's helping each other, and it doesn't have to be a massive movement, but it could start with a small group of people, and it will go out into other groups too. So
Well, white supremacy is designed and set up to produce conflict between black people. And
divide
that's
and
what,
conquer.
yeah, it keeps it going all the time.
Yeah,
In everything that you see, black people are always at each other, always at each other.
yeah,
We
yeah,
can, it's rare that we can find peace with each other. I
yeah,
mean, it's not that there's a formula that we can't, because we can.
yeah,
But they're always, even when we settle down and decide we ain't gonna kill each other no more, we ain't gonna hurt each other no more, we ain't gonna do no drugs, boom, what happens? White supremacy gets busy. And
mm,
they start giving you images of this and that, and here comes movies out of guys being pimps and ladies being prostitutes, being whores. Here
mm.
we go again.
And
Same.
we saw that when we were in the era of Black consciousness. And what did they do? They immediately started. They said, "Oh," they immediately start changing the script.
They
Yeah,
changed the script in music. They changed the script in
yeah,
album covers. They changed the script everywhere they could in
mm,
order to create this. So what we have to do is know this is how white supremacy works.
mm-hmm,
So what we do is that we expect them to come
mm-hmm,
and do. But what do we have available? We have developed a mindset that can effectively counter any move they can make on the board.
mm-hmm,
And you know it's coming, and
mm-hmm,
you prepared a checkmate for it, a testable checkmate, then you move, then it doesn't affect you. You can move away from it and not let it get you, not let it throw you off the
mm-hmm.
course that you're moving on. That's the key. You
And
got to
that,
understand all of this is designed so that you can't see the game that they're running.
yeah,
And they're running this game 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
yeah, yeah. You know what, Kahari? You also talked in your book. You said the final battle is for the Black mind. Can you explain that? The final battle.
You have, in order for us to unite and become one people, we're going to have to discover a way of thinking out of this. We've got to go back and develop a black mind. We see the world through white eyes. That's how we've been taught to look at everything. So therefore, our mind is somewhere on the side. It's there. We just got to find it. We got to find it, and we've got to find it in a hurry because we are under, right now, they stepped up their white supremacy oppression. And the way they do it, they're playing games with you. What they do is that they tell you they're going to fund a program for you, and they put that money out there, but you never get it. You see? So what we have to, the black mind says, boom, we're going to get organized. We're going to put black folks first. We're going to stop following white supremacy, the traps that you set for us. And we're going to start a new direction for our people. And we're going to do that now. We're going to move in that direction now. Even if it starts with me, one person, you'd be surprised what kind of effect one person can have on anything. I mean, look at Malcolm X, Dr. King, look at the effect they had. So one person can get a lot done, like you're doing, Yolanda, and other people. But we have to have codified behavior. Yeah. We have to believe in something. We have to try to live to the extent that we can those things that we preach about. Now, we all come short.
Yeah.
We all come short. And when we come short, we have to say, yep, I do this, I do that. I'm working on it, but I'm trying to get better at all of this. Yes.
Yes. That is awesome.
We have to find our Black mind. We have to begin to gain deep Black consciousness so that we understand the game, what's being going on, how sex is used, how drugs is used, how music is used. All these things are weaponized against us to retard and destroy a race of people. They made a decision a long time ago, genocide, blood was too expensive. They couldn't do it that way. So they said around 1960, 1970, the newest iteration of it, they decided, the iteration is the wrong word, but anyway, newest edition of it, they decided that, we're going to use sex. We're going to create sexual confusion. Mm-hmm. We're going to have males going with males. We're going to have females going with females. And and it's going to create all kind of havoc, and it's going to move them away from the so-called male-female family. And that's what they wanted. And once that happened, you see what's going on now in our community. We're down to what, 80% of our households are basically female-headed households, which are living way below minimum wage in some cases, living in poverty in others. And you see what kind of children are being produced, unfortunately. These are beautiful children that are, and the males are somewhere off, God knows doing what. But this is how you destroy a race. That's why I say it's a weapon that's used against us. It's a weapon that's used against. This is how you destroy a race.
Yeah, and our families was they tried to destroy us even in slavery. So it's just another.
It started Arab slavery did it too. Remember, they enslaved us for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
And then over here in around 1619 somewhere, or at least that's the popular date. And from that moment on, we got separated, we got destroyed. We didn't have any families. We didn't even have, Dr. Wilson said we had survival units. That's what she says we have now, survival units, God rest her soul. Yeah. And so it is. That's basically what it is. We don't have those family structures. When you record, when you understand and get with a Black woman and build with a Black woman, and y'all learn how to minimize conflict and maximize cooperation with each other, now you in your Black mind. Now you're building. Now you're going forward. You're producing Black children that think the same way. They're building. They're going forward. They're influencing where they live, who they know. And now that thing catches on fire and it becomes a way of life for us. And that's what we have to do. That's what I mean by the final battle is for the Black mind. Because if we don't win this battle, we're done.
So we got to start right now, not yesterday,
not tomorrow.
Right now. And one of the ways you can start right now is to get Sex Cold War. It's got everything in here, everything that you want to know, how to get started, what the game is that's being played on us. So you just have to get it. And I guarantee you, it's a lot of pages, but you will not be able to put it down. There's so much information in here. Khari, how long did it take you to do this?
Oh God, it took a minute. As I said, as I told people when they asked me about it, I said the spirit has to be there. When that comes there, you can look at your issue in fashion. You can look at it in entertainment. You can look at it in the movies. You can look at it in sports. You can look at language and food, drugs.
You got it all in there, yeah.
I cover all those things in the Cold War. Every area of life that even spiritual stuff. I talk about the spiritualness of sex, how spiritual and sacred it is, and how you just dismissed it and trampled over it, and we don't understand the power that it has. It's so powerful, it can create another human being.
Mm.
We are sexual creatures. Therefore, we have sexual consciousness. Therefore, that sexual consciousness must be managed effectively to produce constructive outcomes. If you don't do that, you'll have chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You have chaos, dysfunctionalness, and all kind of. And in the book, I list all the problems that sexual confusion produces in terms of social problems, domestic problems in our community. It ravages our community.
Mm-hmm.
And these things did not exist 60 and 70 years ago. They just didn't, not at this level.
Not at this level.
Until they crack cocaine,
Yeah.
you know, they start putting that horrible music, gangster music, crack cocaine, out of control sexuality. It broke the black family down.
Mm-hmm.
Then you mass incarceration, which took black males out the scene, incarcerated them where God knows what happened to them while they were incarcerated. You know, and so we know what's been talked about, but there's obviously a heck of a lot of sexual, or not sexual, but erotic inferences there. Because I say sex is only male, female, male to male, female to female is erotic. Or if you want a banana or cucumber, whatever, that's erotic.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. How can we purchase your book, Khari?
You can go to Amazon Books and just type sex code war in, and it'll pop up and you can get it. You can order it.
All right. And are you available for signings and lectures?
I'm a little older now. When I was 20 years ago, I was really spunky. Now, but I am. I will come out 614-218-8200. And or you can go to sexcodewar.com, which is my website. And then you can request if you want to hear me come in and talk and lecture and speak about sex code war, race code war. And then my new book I'm working on called Economic Code War, in which I break down the meaning of economic language and how and what's its relationship to the maintenance of white supremacy.
Oh my gosh. You know, you got to come back on and talk about that. So we got to have you back. Thank you. Thank you so much for being on this week's program of S.Yolanda in the Know. And thank you out there for listening and watching S.Yolanda in the Know. And I love, 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 love you. And guess what? You can't do anything about it.